So before we get into actual discernment, it is helpful to recognize what's the most useful way to observe and take things in. And oftentimes we're not fully present when situations are coming up, and this means that we're going to misread things. We might apply emotional reasoning to things when it would be more helpful to be more objective, receive the information, and then tune in with our best way of determining if an option is right for us or not. And in my psychic school, the way we learn this is by taking refuge or bringing our attention to the center of our head, and it's as though we're viewing the world out from there. And in my psychic school, and I'll guide you through a very mini version of this, we actually would meditate and bring our attention here and create a whole scene. We would create a whole room and make it a really comfortable room, one we wanted to be in. And then imagine what was it like when we were looking out. For some people, they're like looking out a window. For some people, it was like a screen that a movie projected on that was the outside world. For some, it was a 360-degree window. I know mine at one point felt like I was in a movie theater. Another point, it felt like I was in a spaceship. And all of this is really to separate us from reality, to give us a moment where even within our own mind, which is a different way of being an observer. In neurolinguistic programming, oftentimes when you're an observer, the way of taking the observer role is to imagine yourself in a different place in the room and as though you're observing yourself. And this can be useful. You're getting an objective perspective, but this is another way of doing it, of becoming an observer within your own mind, an observer to the outside world so that you don't get stuck in it, you don't get caught in it. Now, the only problem is sometimes when we're up here, other people's thoughts, opinions, and energies are there too. So for me, for a long time, one of my former teachers was in here, and I would be thinking about, how I was going to make her upset every time I was making a decision. And this can also be family members. It can be really anybody. It might even be just a significant trauma point in your life where somebody was, harmful to you in some way if you didn't choose their opinion or view of things. And so by survival instinct, you refer to them, maybe even unconsciously. And so it can be helpful to step back in to your mind's eye, notice if there's any other energies in there. And then if there are, all we have to do, technically the grounding cord should be able to pull this out on its own. A grounding cord is an energetic connection that we have with the center of the earth. And when we intend that we have this energetic cord that connects the edge of our aura all the way into the center of the earth, gravity will pull from our space any energies that are in our space that aren't ours. We still have to clear and take care of ours, but if it's not ours to deal with, then gravity can just pull it out for us. And in a special way, we want to really make sure that there's not extra stickiness that can sometimes be in the center of head that stops gravity from being able to pull it out because we might be a little too attached to that person. And so one way we can do it is when we're doing a very simple meditative scan, we can come to center of head. We could check if we notice there might be somebody else present in there, and even if we aren't aware of it, it's fine, we can still clear it. And all we do is we imagine that there's a trap door here. The trap door opens, and then anybody who's not meant to be in there, they drop down our central column and go down the grounding cord as well. Now, I have even had it where, for whatever reason, my mind was having a hard time getting them out. So I would either imagine that there was a vacuum pulling them out. At one point, I imagined I had my own personal bodyguard that came and sort of threw the person out. Again, this isn't them. This is your projection of them in your space. And it's very helpful for their energy not to be in your field for both you and for them. So it's actually totally fine for you to intend that their energy be out of their space. This is more of a visual representation of the concept of return to sender, which you may have heard of before, where if you notice somebody else is in your space, oftentimes this can be associated with a psychic attack. And it's not always gossip and things are forms of psychic attack, where the person being gossiped about will feel something is happening and being said about them in small ways. And so all we need to do is intend that energy be released from our center of head down to the center of the earth. It'll get transmuted or returned to wherever it needs to be. Or we can also even say return to sender. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but return to sender is another powerful technique for being more sovereign again. So I'm going to walk you through a quick meditation on this. So again, if you've done this sort of thing before with me, maybe just go ahead, but I really want to make sure everybody has the opportunity. So it can be helpful to sit with palms on lap. So I'm sitting in a chair right now or on a stool right now with my palms on my lap, it's probably helpful to be on a chair with your back straight. If you choose to take another position, totally fine. Your intention is what matters most. And allow yourself to be a little bit more calm. Please do not be doing this while driving. If you're driving, skip ahead to the next piece. Come back to this at another time. Allow yourself to become calm. Notice where you feel relaxed. Perhaps breathe in a little bit more. I'll energetically help too with a little bit of grounding energy for you. And then if you're not familiar with how to set a grounding cord right now, imagine that you have a hollow energetic sphere that surrounds you. It's about an arm's width in all directions, and this defines your personal space. And even just by defining it, you're going to have more sort of boundaries here. And then what happens when that bottom half, it begins to extend downwards? So it's as though it were like a slinky or something where it's all compact up here, but now it begins to extend downwards until it gets all the way down to the center of the earth. So you are sitting at the very top of a hollow energetic tube that connects all the way in with the center of the earth energetically. And once it connects in, anything that's above, anything that's in your space right now that isn't yours is just going to get pulled out. Gravity is helping on your behalf. So we'll allow that for 10, 20, 30 seconds. For initial cleans, you might even do much longer, but for the sake of the video, we'll keep it kind of tight. Notice if you feel more light. Again, for a lot of people, when they do this, they notice a looseness or a lightness in the chest area. The chest might have felt heavy or tight before, constricted. It tends to feel a little bit more open. Notice how your shoulders are doing. We carry a lot of stuff there. Often when I'm just going through my daily clearing, shoulders is where I need to clear off energy, throw it down the grounding cord. Again, the grounding cord and gravity are very helpful, but when there are things causing interference from it dropping down, then it can't drop down. It's just like a ball that's flying through the air is going to hit the ground unless a mitt catches it. Well, now it's in the mitt. It's not on the ground. Something will drop onto the floor unless it lands on the chair or the table first. Then it'll be there. It's interfering with gravity trying to do its job, which is fine. And in a special way now, move your attention wherever it might be, if it's in the center of the earth, if it's somewhere around the grounding cord, if it's out and about, if it's somewhere within the body. Move it to the center of your head. So you can imagine maybe it might be helpful to bring your attention first to the root, there between the legs and at the base of the spine. And imagine that you're in an elevator that moves you all the way up to the center of head, behind the eyes, between the ears is a general point. It's really between the temples more so. And notice what that's like, standing there. Take a look around. Does it look like you're staring at the inside of a head? Does it look very different? And were you to peer out at the outside world from here, what would that be like? Would it be the same or would it be different than how you take in the world in a daily life? For me, it's kind of like sitting in a car. I have glass around me, and while I'm in the world, when I'm in my car, I'm also not actually in the external world. So I'm in my car, I'm looking out. Yes, I'm technically a part of it, but it's a little bit more like an observer at the moment. The second I get out of the door of the car and I'm walking around, now I'm fully in the world. But that's what I feel like when I'm in the center of head. And then for you, ask, is there anybody else in your space right now? Just notice, does it feel like someone's present? Do you see, know, hear? Now, either way, if you have a very clear hit, yes, maybe even hear a voice in your head, usually it's going to be a negative voice or a disempowering voice, something like, this isn't going to work for you, you can't do this, how dare you, imagine you thinking you can do this, who do you think you are, some version of that, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes. Even if it were an affirming voice, you'd still want to allow it to go downwards and then call in your own affirming voice, affirm yourself. But for now, imagine that there is a trapdoor that opens up. And if there were somebody, they drop down and move down the grounding cord, go to the center of the earth. And if there isn't somebody, well, you're still doing it for safe measure. It's kind of like, well, it's like brushing your teeth maybe, or doing any of the things you might do on a daily basis, more so for maintenance, even if you don't have like a direct feedback that it's doing something that exact time. It's doing a little bit every time, and perhaps there is additional residue in there that's getting cleared out a little bit more every time, so you're more sovereign. So allow that. Once the person's dropped out, again, imagine the trapdoor closing. And then for sake of completion, I'll invite you to imagine that there's a golden sun above your head. Write your name in black magnetic ink, claiming it as yours. Have it crack open over you, just like an egg. When it cracks, there's a golden, instead of the yolk inside, there's a golden liquid energy inside that is your energy for this lifetime. And it pours over you, pours over your head, pours over the back of the head, the front, the sides, filling you in. Fills in your shoulders, your arm channels, fills in your central column, your torso, chest, sides, fills in the waist, groin, the legs, the feet. Anything extra and excessive moves out, and also that grounding, that golden sun, the cracked golden sun right here, it continues to move down your grounding cord. And if your attention's not already in the space, you can begin to return it here. Now, what I would invite you to do, again, get comfortable, wiggle fingers and toes and things, but what I would invite you to do is spend a little time going around the world in center of head. Now, this is going to be a habit. You may not get there right away. You may be in center taking things in and then get very caught up in the event itself and then go just back into life itself. But once in a while, find yourself coming back to center of head. There's more exercises we could do on this, but we'll leave it here for now. That's a longer kind of workshop exercise format in terms of really making sure it's in the bones for you. And in time, you might find that it's easy to come here. And the reason I'm bringing this up first is, again, you can make cleaner decisions from this place. You can evaluate what are the true things going on. And from here, we can go into those other tools that were presented earlier.